Alright guys, welcome back to class. If at this point again you have not subscribed, or if this is your first time of seeing our videos and coming in contact with our YouTube channel, please do well by subscribing so that you don't miss out of our future videos like this, because we're going to be dashing out or dishing out a lot of contents, a lot of educative contents just like this one as you're seeing it. So we're going to be building in this section of the video, we're going to be building we are going to be now integrating our assumptions and translating them into values that actually matters, values that actually define the purpose of our business. So that's what we're going to be doing in this particular section. First of all, let's format our you know what I did already, so I don't need to be repeating myself. So what I did, for the sake of people that are just joining us in this class, and it will do you good if you go back to our previous classes and revisit what we have done earlier on, so that you can understand the basis on which we have established the understanding with people that are already subscribers. All right, you that is just joining us, make sure you watch our previous videos and you see how we arrive at this stage. So what we're going to do right now is click on, I press my Alt, I go to H and I go to J, because that is J means sales is a command that represents sales styles guide. So we have sales styles here, you can see it. So once you do that, is this is our heading 1 and this is going to be our heading 2. So this is going to be our heading 2. So I have to be fast now. Remember when we calculated our inflation index? So that is what we're going to be linking here. So these cells, everything here is going to be a linked cell. So let me do it at once. A linked cell, HJ, a linked cell. So we have the link here. So we just click. Now you go back to your inputs. When you come to your input, where is your pricing index? So this is our pricing index. You enter, just link it. Then we will come back to format. You now come to your inflation index too. Inflation index is this. Link it. Now you come to your month in a period. Now remember when we did our month in a period, what you're going to do is you're going to say equal to, here is not linking, yeah, it's actually linking it as well. You can say equal to, because I've already named the cell. What I would do, I'll just say equal to month in a period. You say enter. So you can see this our month in a period. Like I said again, if you are just joining us for the first time, you may not understand this, and so you have to go back to our beginner class. You have to go back to where we started, where we talk about the style guide, the model style guide. You will see how we arrive at this, right? So here too we have the quantity growth rate. Our quantity growth rate is going to be equal to, now you go to your quantity growth rate and link it. So this is a percentage. Well, this is well formatted. You just drag it, it will give you the same thing. It will link it appropriately, so you can see that because it's constant, that's why we're having it here. So if you come to these two places, these are multiple cells. We're going to use a multiple. What is happening? Okay, maybe because something is wrong with this. This is the inflation index, and this is the quantity pricing index. So let's see, this is pricing index. It's not supposed to be giving me this. So let me see, let me just apply the formatting first and see. All right, it's okay. Yes, we have 1.10 as the pricing, the last item there, 1.10. okay, that's it, is correct. So you just have to apply the formatting. So when you come here too, you can see that it's not giving you what you want. You now have to check your formatting and see if your formatting is correct. So if your formatting is correct, you can see we have 1.17. come to your inflation index 1.17, we are correct. Now you come back to your this place, you can just click and drag because it doesn't have any present, you're just using a formula all through. Now we have done that. Now product pricing. So what you're going to do now, you are going to now look for your product pricing. So in product pricing, what we're going to apply is product pricing has to do with the product pricing have to do with the inflation, the pricing index, because that's what we're going to be using, the pricing index. Okay, the pricing index, that's what we're going to be using for our product pricing, the pricing index. So it's our calculations. I just want to be consistent, that's why I'm doing this. So it's nothing much. Okay, there's not much thing. I just want to be consistent with what I'm doing. So when you come here, we have now linked our pricing index, we have linked our inflation index, we have linked our month in a period and quantity growth rate, right? So what we are going to do right here, we are going to say, okay, we're going to come to this cell and you have to import or link those your pricing. So we are going to come to here, we have this is what we have. Click. Now because we have consistency here, you can just click and drag it to give you the same thing. So there's a consistency in that. So when you come to this place also, I can decide to say, okay, I want to copy this and paste here. The consistency will still apply because the same amount of space I have here, that's the same amount of space I have here. So it's going to take up, oh no, something is wrong. Now we're supposed to have given me the same thing. So this is cost. Okay, this one is cost. Let's see, why is this not showing us product cost? Okay, because I did not paste it on the first one. You can see it's actually correct. I didn't paste it on the first one. Now that I pasted it on the first one, it's giving me the same thing. So if I paste it here too, to give me the same thing. So consistency, because I've already applied it earlier on, that is why we have it. What happened here? No, this is an error because everything here is supposed to be a link. So you can just if I also copy this and paste here, it will give me the same thing. I can click and drag. So I can click and there I have that consistency because this is Excel, and once you are able to understand the flow of things, you can do it more fast. Remember I said accuracy and speed work hand in hand. So you want to be fast and you want to be accurate. So that is what we are doing here. So apply the cells. This is link. This is link. This is a link cell. So now that we have this, remember that this is the product pricing. Is the product pricing and the product cost per one item, and this is the quantity we are expected to be selling in a period, right? So what next? We're now going to calculate and see. We're going to calculate and see how much. If you look at here, if you look at this place now, we are saying, okay, this is the product we envision to sell. This is the pricing we want to sell. But if situations remain constant, just the way it is this time, so this is what we are going to be selling our product for. But if the economic situation changes, we want to be able to apply this rate. We want to be able to apply, say, okay, let this quantity be multiplied by this so that we can have the pricing growth, right? So that's what we are going to be doing. The price, we are going to multiply by the pricing index so we can have that. So once we do that, we will now come back here. So this one we have to shift it a little bit to this place, right? We have to shift it a little bit, though you can still work with it where it is, but just for consistency purposes, let's just do it the way we have done it before. But that does not have any effect at all. So we're going to now say, okay, this is our previous year, this is quantity. If everything remains the same, then you should be able to give us, because there's no change, you're going to apply, we're going to say the pricing multiplied by the pricing index. We are now integrating our economic concept into it. The pricing multiplied by the pricing index. So consistently now, since you have done once, you can do the other ones. Oh no, what happened? Because we need to format this. We need to format this in a way that it will give us it will not be giving us all these decimal places. So what I will do, I'll apply my form calculations. So this is it. Once you apply your calculations on it, it will give you this. Now the same way because I don't want to be doing this. If I do this, I multiply this and do this. No, what I will simply do is I will lock this pricing index, because we are taking our reference on the pricing index on all these products, right? So what I will do is I want to be able to apply this formula once and drag it down, and it will give me the same thing, and it will be taking reference from the same place. What are we going to do here? What are we going to do? You can, if you look at it from here, you see that we have what is called absolute referencing, and we have what is called relative references. So in this case, we are going to now put a relative reference on the inflation index, on the pricing index, because the pricing index is where we are deriving our reference from. We don't want the pricing index cell to change, no matter where we are applying, no matter the column, the row we are in, or the column we are in. We don't want the pricing index cell to change. So what we are going to do, we are going to apply a relative sales reference. A relative sales reference means that it will change according to it will change the column. It will change in column, but it will not change in the column, but it will not change in the column number. So that means the alphabet should change, but the number should not change. So what you're going to do now, you're now going to press your F4. When you press your F4 once, what you have is absolute reference. That means wherever you are, it should take reference from J11. But that is not what we want. We want it should take reference from the number, not the row, not the column. So we are going to take the row number. We are now locking the row number. So it's going to take reference now from this. Now let me show you. Let me just put the absolute. If you say absolute referencing, where you are seeing the two double comma, the two dollar sign, where you are seeing the $2 sign, that means you are locking that everything should take reference from this particular place, from this particular 1.0x, right? So let's see if we drag it like this. Okay, because it has not changed though. That's because it has not changed. So absolute referencing. So when you drag it, you can see that everything is consistent. 200, right? But no, this is not what we want. We want to say, okay, because we want the column number, the column should change, but the row number should not. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a relative depending on what you want. If you want the relative to be on the cell, on the column, it should be on the column. If you want it to be on the row, it will be on the row. So what we want is that the row should be locked, but the column should be free to be able to change. So that's what we're going to do here. So when you put that dollar sign in front of the J, you can see that it has changed. So it's applying based on what the columns that change. You can see. So everything is okay. So if I drag it down, it will still take reference from that. Now the row has changed, the column has changed for to come down to this, but the column for the pricing index, nothing affects it. It still remain constant. So that is why we have that one there. So you can just click there and drag. Remember, accuracy and speed is important. You can be speeding, but if you are not accurate, you just wasted the whole time. So you have to be accurate in what you are doing. So now that we have done that, we have applied the pricing on the pricing index. Now the inflation, the cost, where are we going to apply the inflation? Of course, you can deduce and say, oh, the inflation should be the product cost should be on the inflation. Of course, you're right. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to waste as much time as I have wasted during trying to explain the pricing index. So I'll just copy this and paste. Right now, don't get me wrong, this has affected everything we are doing. Don't get me wrong, this has affected everything we are doing, right? You can see that instead of taking reference from the inflation, it's taking reference from pricing, which is very, very wrong. So you have to be very, very mindful. So what you're going to do here now is you're going to say, okay, this is where we want to take our reference from. We want to take our reference from J12 this time around, not J11. So because of that, we have to do the same thing, put a relative reference in front of the J, right? Once you do that, you enter. So you can see it's giving us the same thing. It's giving us the same thing, but once you start highlighting it, you can see that it has changed according to the reference, the cell reference we have. So that means we are correct here. So what you're going to do is click and drag. You can see everything is now perfect, right? It's driving reference from what we have. Now we have been able to determine our product pricing and our product cost, right? We have been able to determine. Now, based on the quantity of item we want to sell, remember that our prediction or our forecast is that our assumption is that we want to be selling 150 bottles or 150 packs of bottled water every month. So and our model, we are building our model in a yearly basis, on a yearly basis. In what we are going to do now is we're going to say, okay, since that is the case, since that is what we are trying to do, we are now going to say, okay, this quantity now multiply by 12. The quantity now will be multiplied by 12. Then when we get the quantity multiplied by 12, now apply the growth rate. We are not going to apply the growth rate. We're going to now say the quantity plus the quantity times open bracket 1. That is 1 means 1 plus the growth. That's 100% of that plus the growth rate. That is what is going to give us, right? So let's go ahead and do it. Now you can see that here we have it in months, but we want to now say, okay, this our quantity multiplied by 12. This our quantity multiplied by 12. Very important again. What you should do, put in this case we're going to put absolute referencing because we want it to take reference from that, okay? Because we only have one. So you click and drag it down. You can see it's taking absolute reference from that place and it doesn't change, right? So you can put this on explanatory. I'll say explanatory, right? So let's go ahead. Now, like I said, we now have our quantity in a year. That means in a year we want to sell 1,800 packs for water and 2,400 packs for Glut energy drink and 3,000 packs for mud, right? So that is what we want to get. Now we have gotten it in a year. So our now quantity growth rate is now going to be equals to this, the yearly sales, the yearly quantity sales we are projecting. Open bracket, we are now say 1. That is 100%. 1 is 100% of that. Okay, let's go ahead and say, you're going to say this multiply by open bracket 1 plus this, then close the bracket, enter. So this is what we have now. The quantity, we're not talking about this, doesn't have anything to do with value, doesn't have anything to do with monetary value. This is quantity that we want to sell in a year and how much we want to grow every year. That means we want to grow by 3.5%, 3.2% every year, right? That's how we want to grow. Okay, our quantity will keep on growing by 3.2% every year. So what we are going to do is, let me repeat, equals to this times open bracket 1 plus, because it's growth rate, 1 plus the growth rate we have. So once you do that, remember our relative cell reference. Now lock the column. You now lock the column and freeze. You now lock the row. So once you do that, you can click this, bring it down. You can see it will take reference from the column. You can see it's taking reference directly from that. So if this changes, you can see that the quantity, because it's quantity, there's no point of having decimal places. So what I will do, once I apply the calculations format, I can go ahead and say, okay, I don't want, because it's quantity, I want to have a whole number instead of having decimal places. So I can go ahead and say yes. So this is the quantity we want to be having every year, the quantity we want to be selling every year. So having said that, we have been able to calculate our pricing growth, and we also have been able to calculate our cost growth and the quantity growth, right? So in the next section, we are going to be seeing how we are going to now calculate the revenue growth. We are going to apply these metrics to determine our revenue, right? Determine our cost, and also determine our revenue. So if you have not subscribed to this channel again, please, this is the right time for you to do that, because you may not know when we upload other videos if you don't follow us up as we go. So thank you, and see you in the next class.